Over 100 wins as a head coach, WPIL championships in 2017, 2020, also that PIAA state championship in 2017, and now after 37 years coaching in some capacity at Jeannette High School, head coach Roy Hall will coach his final game as the head coach of the Jayhawks Friday night at Clairton. Coach, thank you so much for being with us here on this special going away interview, I guess. Has it sunk in yet? This is your final game as the head coach.
Well, I think when it really hit me is last week when our terrific cheerleaders, they decorated my house and saying, they said some sayings on there, and it really hit me then. And I went in the house. I was a little teary-eyed, I did, and my wife knew it. My wife, Patty, knew it, and then it started to hit me, and then Friday night when it really hit me.
I wanted to ask you about Friday night. The public address announcer was relaying messages from former players, coaches that you've coached against, a lot of people. Did you have a chance to hear those messages, or were you too involved in coaching the game to listen to that?
Well, I was really involved in it, but I heard some of them. Of course, announcer Tim Corning, his voice carried pretty well, and also Mr. Shifko, I heard him. But I heard one of the announcements that Mr. Shifko was saying, and when I heard that, it kind of hit me, and I tried to step up to the sidelines so everybody would be behind me because I got a little teary-eyed, but then they see me, and then that's when everybody started coming up and giving me hugs and congratulations.
Coach, what has kept you so strong and so vibrant as head coach of the Jeannette Jayhawks for so many years? I mean, you've been involved in this program. It's been your life. How are you able to do it year after year?
Well, it all started with me with the late Coach Joe Musey. I played for him. Then when Coach Musey left, Coach Traeger took the head job, and he asked me to be an assistant. And that's when me and Coach Rich came on. Then when Coach Art left, Coach Traeger left, Coach Murph took over, and I elevated me up to the high school. And then when Coach Murph left, Coach Rich took over, and I was the head assistant coach under Coach Rich, and I had some great teachers, great role models to follow.
And that coaching lineage is just so impressive when you sit and think about the men that have been in control of this Jeannette football program dating back to 1968 when Coach Musey started. It's really amazing. It's such an incredible thing, and we're also very fortunate to live here in this town and to have such top-notch men guiding this football program and guiding the youth of Jeannette.
I'll be willing to bet across the whole state of Pennsylvania, maybe the country, that I would doubt very much if any high school had the coaches and they're all associated the way they were throughout this whole program. And they all come back. I got a message from all of them before the game, good luck, well wishes and everything. And if there's anything that I ever needed, like advice on something, never hesitate to call, they never hesitate to answer.
Is this something that you've been thinking about for a few years, retiring, or was it, COVID, all the problems with the transfers in the off season, did that kind of push you over the edge?
Well, I'll be perfectly honest with you. I thought about it last year, kind of said some things to my wife, my daughter, Nicole, which is one of my biggest fans, and my wife, and my other daughters also, but Nicole has really never missed a game. But we talked about it, and I thought about it, and I came back, and I don't want to sit here and tell a story that, yes, what happened this year with the COVID and everything, and the loss of my sister-in-law, that might have played a small role, but it was about time. And they said, you'll know when it's time, and I know it's time.
So it might not only be the last game for you, but some of your assistants as well. Charlie Cook in particular, your brother-in-law, who's been with you every step of the way. Talk about what the other assistant coaches have meant to you and meant to this program after all these years.
Well, if I can, first and foremost, I want to say my wife, which is not only my wife, but the love of my life. She's been my strongest supporter through good and bad. I could always count on her. So in a sense, I could say that was my main head coach,
sure.
Assistant coach. But speaking of Charlie Cook, what else can I say? He's my brother-in-law. He coached with me. I was his best man at the wedding. And we played together and on the WPIL championship team in 1981. So I could always count on Charlie. He's always there. He's a head assistant right now, and it just means so much. And not only just getting out of coaching, we have a great coaching staff over the years, and those guys we're going to miss.
I think what a lot of people that are on the outside oftentimes think, well, you're just a football coach and there's really not much that goes along with it. But that is about the furthest thing from the truth. As head coach, you are a father figure, a role model. You're a teacher. You're a driver. You cook and prepare meals with your family. I mean, there's so many things that the average person doesn't understand that goes on a daily basis that you have to do as head coach of a football team, especially here in Jeannette.
That is very true. I tell you, my wife always would say, I'm one of the most humble guys there is. I mean, because I try to stay level, because the great successes we have and everything like that, you can always have something to tear you down, like a comment that was just made. I mean, I love each and every one of these kids that I coach. We've done numerous things for them. We don't broadcast the things we do for the kids, but they show, and they all come back. Thank you and stuff like that. But, like with social media, they say what they want. But if you know Coach Hall, you know what kind of guy I am.
And just one example that I remember that sticks out in my mind, it just is a testament to who you are and the true amount of heart and passion that you have. Springdale lost their longtime football coach, Chuck Wagner, and we were going down there to play. And you took it upon yourself to get helmet stickers, not only for Springdale, but also for the Jeannette Jayhawks. And I think that was such a touching moment for everyone that night. And I was there and I remember it, and it just made you feel so good. And you made that happen, Coach Hall. It was you.
Well, I'm going to say this. Those are the kind of things, like, that's me. I just do. And, like, I might not remember them, but I remembered it when we played Springdale. I hope he forgives me, the coach that came out, because I think this is his last year. And he made some comments. He said, Coach, you're a class act. And he brought that up about the stickers. And then he says, it was one thing to give them to us and you, but when you gave us an extra set for the family of Coach Wagner, that was even another thing. I mean, that's Coach Hall. That's me. I mean,
you, sure.
You know what I mean? So that's just, it's not like I put on a show. That is me. I've always been that way. I've had great parents that brought me up. I got a great family, and that's what I do.
It's rivalry week here at Jeannette as you take on the Clairton Bears Friday night. You have been involved in some great rivalries over your years. Going back to when you were a player, it was Freeport that was a big rival. It was East Allegheny for a few years, and of course Greensburg Central Catholic and Clairton of late. Are there any teams that you really like to coach against, whether it be those rivalry games or some other game?
Well, I like to coach in some of them, but sometimes I didn't want to coach against Clairton because, Clairton owned Single A, and you know what I mean? But no, I can remember playing like coached a couple times playoff games with Freeport. That brought back memories when we played, because Freeport Yellow Jackets, I remember coming down that highway and seeing the stands would be filled before we got there as players. And I did. I mean, I look forward to Greensburg Central Catholic. That was a big rivalry game. I mean, because also we had some kids that lived in Jeannette that went there, and it was just a big rivalry game. I mean, and sometimes it got a little rough, some of the comments that were made and stuff like that, but I have fond memories.
So you don't have to name any names here, but if the school board, the administration at Jeannette asked you for some qualities that you were looking for in the next head coach at Jeannette, what would you tell them?
Well, knowing the program, knowing the community, knowing what they expect here in Jeannette. And there are some candidates out there, one in particular. I mean, they did ask maybe who I could recommend or whatever, but not saying that they would go with it. But you want somebody, put it this way, not just anybody could coach here at Jeannette. You got to know the kids, you got to know the families, you got to know the community. But first and foremost, yes, it's football, but they got to do their schoolwork first, you know what I mean? And that comes first. So those are what I could say. I mean, you got to be dedicated. And there's one thing, we would start in like February and March, you know what I mean? And like a lot of that's unpaid, most of it. But if you want to achieve and be good and be successful, you got to do it, you know what I mean? I don't know nobody that's coaching for the money. You coaching because you want to, and you want to enjoy the kids, and you love the game.
Coach Musi has talked years gone by about success breeds success, and that has happened over the years. And I think that, you know, looking back and all of your experience and all of your knowledge, you know, to have that there when the school board and the district does decide to name the new head coach, I think that you should be involved in that decision-making process. I think that it would benefit everybody that you were there to make your recommendation and for your input, and I think that's definitely something that could be useful for not only just this football program, but for the entire city of Jeannette.
Oh, I agree. I mean, I hope they do. I mean, I'm not saying they're going to let me pick them, but I mean, I hope they do listen to something what I have to say, who I would recommend, because like I said, being here for 37 years, and I mean, actually I even coached one individual that I would think would be a great successor here. So, because not only is he a great coach, very intelligent, you know, you could see some of the things he's done in the past.
Coach, you've been a part of some major victories here, and big monumental victories numbers wise, and one that sticks out to me was the 700th victory, and then the 700th victory party and celebration that we had here at McKee Stadium. That was just an incredible time for everybody, and I remember that, you know, those couple of weeks and the game against Sarah Catholic and winning that game, and then the celebration after the game against Wilkinsburg here, and the fireworks, and the whole Wilkinsburg team stayed. It was just such a good feel-good for everyone involved.
It is. I mean, there's so many fond memories of some of the big games. Like I was asked one time, Coach, could you say one of the biggest games, this and that? I have few. I mean, one of the ones that come to mind was it was 2017 when we played Clairton first, and they just blew our doors off, and then we had to play them in the semifinals at Elizabeth Forward, and we won that game. And I'll never forget, Paul Schofield for the Tribune Review asked me, he says, Coach, you finally got that monkey off your back. And I said, Paul, that wasn't a monkey, that was a gorilla. You know what I mean? Because, you know, it's just Clairton, we just couldn't beat them, but we finally got them that game. And like, because I would go in the store and some people would say, kids would say, whatever, when you going to beat the Bears? When you going to beat the Bears? I said, you don't think we're trying? You know. So.
And that season was such a roller coaster ride from start to finish, and then going to the state championship game, and then we went to get on the bus, and the bus was late, and then we were driving down the turnpike, and who do we see at the first stop? Homer Center. I mean, that was just unbelievable. It was such a storybook year that I will remember vividly, and all the things that we did. We went to Milton Hershey to practice, then we went to Chocolate World and to the hotel. I mean, I remember the things that we did, and gave everybody a bottle of water and a protein bar before bed. I mean, it just all those things that remember, and then you had a lot to do with putting all that together, and everybody did come together to make that happen that year.
Well, Anthony, you was a big part of that also, because you was the athletic director at that time, and I remember you made all the arrangements, you did everything, you set it up where we could practice. And if I recall, the athletic director there is a former Jeannette resident, and we had that all set up. And the thing was, you got that set up, but I believe that Homer Center, they had tried to call and get practice there too, but they let us be there. But those were very fond memories. They really are.
Last couple of things for me, Coach, and then I'll let Anthony wrap up. So the end of August next year, last Friday in August, where are you going to be? And if it's in the stands here at McKee Stadium, what will that feel like, do you think?
It'll be different. It'll be something I never experienced since I got out of college after 2 years, and I watched that 1 year, and then after that I've been here ever since. That'll be real different, you know. And I know that I'll be sitting up there in the stands, and you'll be hearing all them other coaches in the stands, and I'll say, hey, where were you at in February? Where were you at in March? You know what I mean? But no, it's going to be different. But I did offer to whoever's going to be there, whatever I will offer, I will help out in any kind of way I can, as far as, like, you know, it's fundraising, not coming down on the field or nothing like that, but I will help out in any kind of way I can, as far as supporting or helping to raise money or anything I can do.
So 37 years, if we take maybe an average of 30 players on each of those teams, that's over 1,100 lives touched.
Yes, yeah.
I feel some pressure here that I kind of got to speak as on behalf of all of your former players, as I was a former player. So I'll just throw a personal tidbit out there. When I was in 8th grade, I was a little bit of a knucklehead. You know, not a bad kid, but could have went either way. Could have went the wrong road, could have went the right road. And that all stopped in 9th grade because you and Coach Cook were our junior high coaches at that time. And there was no way I was showing up to practice after getting in trouble in school. Right. Not just because I didn't want you yelling at me and having you make me run laps and things like that, but because I didn't want to let you down. I didn't want to let you and Coach Cook down. And I think that's the ultimate sign of respect from all of your players. They've never wanted to let you down. They've always wanted to win for you, and that's really the ultimate sign of respect. So for me, Coach, congratulations. I wish you good luck and good health in your retirement, and we're certainly going to miss you here as the head coach at Jeannette.
Well, thank you, Whigham. I appreciate that, and I'm definitely going to miss you guys, but I'll be around. I'll be listening and watching. I'll be around.
We're gonna miss you for sure, and Friday nights definitely won't be the same. And not only have you touched the lives of everybody here in Jeannette and Westmoreland County, but it goes beyond that. There is so much respect for you at the WPIL level, the state level, and nationwide. There's people that know Roy Hall from Jeannette, PA, and that has to make you be very, very proud.
It does. I mean, you know, but I try to stay humble. I mean, like, and I say this, yeah, they say Roy Hall head coach, but believe me, there's no way on God's green earth that I have any kind of success if I don't have the assistants that I've had through the years. Charlie Cook, Ryan Rich, Trevor Petrillo, Mike Mariotti, Ty Langford. You know, and the two newcomers I have this year is Darius Brown, D. Felice. Then, you know, and this is the thing, a lot of people don't know what's put in. You got to have your photographer, your statistician. You got to make sure you get your chain crew, your managers. And there's just so much involved, but there's no way we would be able to accomplish that if we wouldn't have had all the people that I've had around me over the years here coaching and everything. John Danton, I mean, that was weird because he coached me in junior high and he was a high school coach, and then here I'm the head coach and he was my assistant. That was weird, but we clicked together, and I tell you what, we have a ball out here. We have a great time.
And there's a bond with everybody here in Jeannette, a bond across the WPA. So, Coach, thank you so much for everything that you did for this school, this town, this community, and I know you're still going to be here for us always, and it's just been such a pleasure, and you're going to be missed. That's for sure.
Well, thank you. I'll be missed, but I won't be far away.
No, you enjoy your retirement. You deserve it.
I thank you much, and I appreciate it.
Jeannette head coach Roy Hall coaching his final game Friday night as the Jayhawks travel to take on the Clairton Bears right here on the Westmoreland Sports Network.
I'm going to step in real quick, Brent, because I can't.
Here, get in there, Dan.
Right
Get in. Yeah, get in there.
I just, Coach, I didn't want to let this opportunity go without thanking you for everything that you've done for the Westmoreland Sports Network as well. Calling you during the week, trying to schedule interviews, and usually my schedule turns out to be something else, and I'm texting Coach and going, Coach, can you actually, instead of doing it at 4, can you do it at 5? Can you do it the next day? And Coach was always very gracious with your time. Thank you so much. One of the big reasons that I enjoy doing what I do is the relationships that I can build with coaches, players, and parents, and the relationship that we have with you, that I have with you, is right there at the top. So thank you so much for all your support, Roy. I really appreciate it.
And Dan, I appreciate all the exposure you gave us, Jeannette and everything, and I was glad to do it. I never turned you down because I appreciate everything you did.
And I think back to the Foothills Classic not long ago.
Yes.
You were the head coach. We had a chance to talk before that, and state championships, Whitfield championships, and again, I know we'll be seeing you a lot during the games, but
yes, you will.
Congratulations and thank you again.
Thank you, Dan.
All right, I'll turn it back over to Brent here. Brent, you can slide back in now after I almost slid into you, but I wanted to take that opportunity to congratulate Coach Hall.
Well, thank you very much, Dan. Dan Flickinger, owner of the Westmoreland Sports Network. So, once again, final game for head coach Roy Hall Friday night as the Jeannette Jayhawks take on the Clairton Bears in Clairton. We'll have it for you right here on the Westmoreland Sports Network.